with that being said, let's welcome Daniel McKee with Strat to the stage.
Thank you. Okay, today I want to tell you about my personal quest to create a system of science and technology for strategic fitness. Excuse me, actually that shouldn't be there. For strategic fitness. And how this became my company, StratFit. The genesis for all this came from my intense interest in developing strength. Over the last decade, I have spent countless hours studying the greatest works of fitness training science. When I dove into this, I quickly realized there was a huge gap between this immense body of knowledge and our ability to apply it in the field. This problem lit a creative fire for me, and it became my quest to create a complete mathematical system to perfect the pursuit of performance. I started StratFit as the vehicle for this purpose. We are creating a revolutionary system of digital technology and training equipment. The reason StratFit is needed right now is because the world of physical performance has a massive problem. Fitness training as a practice and the fitness industry as an economic sector is currently ruled by chaos. Gimmickry reigns supreme for fitness businesses like gyms, uncertainty for strength and conditioning coaches and trainers, and skepticism for athletes and gym clients. The reason for this enormous problem is that what we are fundamentally buying and selling in the fitness industry is not clear to far too many people. And what is that fundamentally? Stress, adaptation, and improvement. You see, every area of business is based on a science, and every science is based on a foundational measurable entity. For example, energy is the foundational entity of relativity and quantum physics. Einstein's equation to calculate energy was the catalyst for the development of the technologies that created the world we live in today. For training, that foundational entity is stress. We apply stress through training to drive adaptation because adaptation drives improvement. And that is what people can and will pay for. So the fact is that a mathematical system for precisely calculating and dosing stress will revolutionize fitness training as a science and the fitness industry as a sector of the global economy. This will be analogous to the explosion in technological development the world saw after Einstein's discovery. So now is the time for strategic fitness and StratFit. The future that we have been waiting for in the fitness industry is right now. Scientists in the 20th century developed an immense body of knowledge about stress through training elite athletes. And now in the 21st century, computational power and technology gives us the ability to apply this knowledge on a mass scale. And StratFit has created the mathematical system of application. The foundation of the system is my unique equation for calculating training stress. So we are the solution to the chaotic problem of the fitness industry. We are developing revolutionary technologies in both the digital and physical arenas. Our digital fitness product is StratFit Digital, where trainers use our strategy design drive to design training strategies, and our training implementation system features an AI functionality to auto-regulate training in real time in the gym. On the equipment side, our first offering of special strength training equipment is our power training arsenal, which features our patented explosive strength device and acceleration strength device. The arsenal puts the power of training for maximal power in the hands of every single strength and conditioning coach that uses our system. StratFit Digital features a revolutionary accounting system for calculating and dosing and regulating training stress. It empowers trainers to strategize the level and timing of specific adaptations for athletes and clients. And it features real-time AI-enabled auto-regulation of training, which optimizes athletes and clients' improvements right in the moment. And our beta will scale coaches and trainers' businesses. The first component of the power training arsenal is our patented explosive strength device, which features electromagnetic functionality and automatically unloading weights to develop peak explosiveness. The Arsenal also features our acceleration strength device, which uses accommodating resistance chains to peak accelerating force. The combination of these two is peak power for athletics. Here's our market opportunity. We're targeting full-time strength and conditioning coaches with our MVP version, and there are currently 14,000 of these pros employed in the United States alone. Once we have built a dedicated base of these pros, they will have a multiplier effect on the rest of the personal training field. There are currently 307,000 full-time personal trainers employed in the United States, and projections show there will be 58,000 more by 2031. Our beta will feature an expanded revenue model in which trainers publish their strategies into an in-app store where users purchase the strategies to use in the gym. Each trainer directly influences at least 10 to 20 athletes. With the viral effects of our marketing and social media, the combination of StratFit and our trainers will expand into the broader arena of over 80 million serious training app users worldwide. Let's look at the competitive field. Some of our competitors are impressive, but we have some key advantages. The advantage we will always have is that we are not only a business and product, we are a new way to apply knowledge. Our proprietary scientific system is our foundation and sets us categorically above. Secondly, our user interface will make training design more intuitive for rookie trainers. We empower them to learn as they go. Our competitors are still regulated to the upper echelon of the personal training field. Our product is the best for the entire spectrum. Another advantage will be our training app AI, allowing infinite users to use a strategy without the trainer having to do anything. This is pure scalability for trainers' businesses. Also, none of our major digital competitors have their own line of equipment. Our digital product and equipment form an integral system, so we are the only player fulfilling all the needs of athletes. Lastly, our applied mathematics will make for a massive API licensing model. StratFit will become the training prescription and analytics software for the entire fitness industry. Here are our revenue models. Our MVP charges coaches and trainers $45 monthly for unlimited access to our strategy design drive. Our beta will feature the expanded revenue model. We will still charge trainers to use the drive, but when users purchase their strategy, we will share the revenue. This is a major win-win for StratFit and every trainer in the market today. StratFit will make an average of $6 per month per end user. Well, with all of that being said, I hope you found this informative, and even more so, I hope you found it inspirational. Thank you for listening.
Anybody have any questions for Daniel? So tell us about your background. How did you get here?
Okay, so I'm a strength and conditioning coach. You mean as far as that goes? So I'm a strength and conditioning coach and personal trainer. I've always been interested in strength since I was a small kid. You know, I just liked pro wrestling and Schwarzenegger movies and all that stuff. So I was always interested in that. And then when I was about 20 years old, I became a fitness model. And so I actually eventually moved to New York City, and I was with a fitness modeling agency there for some years. And while I was there, I got into doing personal training at some gyms there. I actually used to work at Equinox Gym, which is like the kind of high-end gyms of the whole world. And did very well as a personal trainer. And then for a few years, I moved to actually the country of India and lived there. And I was training some movie stars there and people like that, and high-level business people and so on. And I just decided I wanted to get a lot more professional with what I was doing during that time. This is roughly 11 years ago. So I started really studying and learning the science of it, and I just got wildly interested with that. And kind of through doing that, I realized that in order to apply all of that, it's kind of like I said at the beginning of the presentation, it's like this massive amount of knowledge. And even if you can kind of understand it as you're reading it, you're like, how do I apply this in real time? There's so much to think about at every given second when you're training someone. So I realized we need to use a system of mathematics to make it all into some kind of digital system that can actually allow any trainer to use it in real time. So that became kind of my goal. But yeah, that's kind of how I got to where I am now. And I've trained people from kind of all across the spectrum, competitive athletes, boxers, this kind of thing, to just business people that are wanting to get in really good shape and have good wellness for their life, models, actors, everything, yeah.
So the trainers have access to this, like to the back end of this. Do their clients as well, or is it only the trainers?
So right now they could do it however they want. So I've developed it's quite a complex, like it's a sheet on the Google Drive that has all these functions in it. And it first thing that it does is it sort of empowers a coach to develop a much more precise training program to develop very certain adaptations at very certain times. And then it has auto-regulation technology built into it as well, so they can then, for now, what I want them to do is sit down, and what I've been doing with it, is sit down and develop a long-term training program, then open that in the gym, like on the phone. You'll probably do that on the laptop. Then open it in the gym on the device, the tablet or the phone, and then train the person. And then if it needs to auto-regulate the weights for someone, it will do that as well. Now, what we want to do with, they could give they could send that to their client and let their client do it on their own if they wanted to. Now, what we want to do in the future is make our own software of that, so it's not just like a Google Workspace system with a spreadsheet. It's actually a functioning software that's proprietary to Strat. Then from there, they publish the strategy that they made there. It goes into a user app, which would have a store in it, which would kind of look like the Apple or Google App Store. We actually want to look exactly like that. And then you see all the different training programs that are in there, or you search with a keyword for, like, let's say football, in season, wide receiver, and it could be very particular. And then you get all the programs that have been determined to be for that purpose. And then you would look at them and subscribe to them. Of course, they'd be rated and so on. Then once you started training, the auto-regulation sort of artificial intelligence that's doing that, it just starts doing that. So the trainer doesn't have to do anything at that point. So rather than them having to regulate the weights, the AI will do that. But the trainer's making money. You know what I mean? So that's where the scalability comes into it, because people in whole other countries could be could be a million people using your program in the middle of the night and you're just asleep. And the AI is regulating it. So that's the full business model in the future.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Describe the initial appointment of, say, someone like me, mid-60s who's never been to a trainer, which is not true, I do. Mm-hmm. But going in and saying, I want to be able to stand up out of a chair without using my hands when I'm 85. Mm-hmm. So tell me how I start this.
Okay, well, you probably need to be, right now you need to be with a trainer for our minimum viable product version. In the future, you actually could search. I'm hoping that the search, like keyword system, we get a lot of programs and you can get very specific with your keywords and find exactly the right program for you. Now, if you want to know, like, just my personal kind of philosophy that I use with people that I'm training now is, there are international standards for all the major lifts for what you should be able to do according to whether or not you're untrained, novice, intermediate, advanced, or elite performance level, and according to your sex, age, and weight. So what I usually do when someone comes to me, if they don't have a particular goal in mind for themselves, I tell them, here's what we're going to do. I want to get you to where you are, first of all, intermediate, your intermediate standard on bench press and squat for your age, sex, and weight. And then after we get you to intermediate, I want to try to get you to advanced, because if you can get to advanced on those two exercises, which are the kind of two fundamental exercises, if you're good at bench press and squat, your entire body is pretty integrated. So I tell them, if we can get you to advanced on those two exercises, you're going to be able to do what you want to do in life. Your wellness is going to be good. You know, like if you decide, if you're advanced on those two exercises and you decide I want to go skiing, I want to go scuba diving, I want to go surfing for vacation, you're going to be able to do it. You know, you're going to have the strength and athleticism to do it. So that's a good like general goal that I usually give to people, say let's find a program to get that done first of all. And then if we get to more specific goals after we've kind of set that base, then we can go from there. Did that answer the question?
Can you share about the equipment that's integrated into it?
Sure. So this one is, you heard me talk about the explosive strength device. That's what this one is, and actually I'll kind of show you how it works here. So it's going to, when I pick it up, see it's holding there right now, all that weight, and this could be loaded to 200 pounds. Now when I come down and it senses the floor, it comes off automatically. Now the way it works in the gym, we put one on both ends of the barbell. It overloads the eccentric portion of the exercise, the portion where you're lowering the bar. So like for instance, I would put on the top end for like myself squatting 400 pounds, and I might have the devices on both sides, the weight of the device plus the weight 200 pounds. So what happens is I'm lowering 400 pounds. So my nervous system is integrating to oppose 400 pounds. Well then right when I reach the bottom position, that just kisses the floor and comes off like it just came off of this, off both sides. So now my nervous system is integrated with 400 pounds of force, but all of a sudden there's only 200. So what happens at that point is that causes a neurological explosion and super maximal power is developed out of the bottom position upward. And then with our, the other thing we have with it is chains that hook onto the barbell, and naturally the way chains work, as you start going back up, with each chain link that leaves the floor, the barbell's force is increasing, the weight is getting heavier. So your nervous system will sense that the force is increasing, and to maintain a stable external velocity, your nervous system will fire an accelerating force production pattern. And you kind of couple the, or you layer on top of the explosion, you layer an accelerating force pattern that's going to develop maximal power. So that for like athletes, you know, in the field, boxers, football players, this kind of thing, they're just going to have a lot more natural power that they can, you know, show on the field from their training. So that's what it's for. And we have a lot of different kind of applications for it as well. We're actually making a trigger where it can stay on the barbell and then it can be made to fall off with a trigger. We're working on that as well. So it's going to be a lot of applications. And we have this head, we have a patent on that. So this is my engineer here is with me, Mr. Scott here. Yeah, he's the one who basically, that was my idea, and then I described him what it needed to do, and he made it do it. So, and the way that works with the digital system is, so right now with the digital system, the variable that we're controlling is like, you know, the number of reps and the amount of weight that's on the barbell. So we're just, as far as weight goes, we're just controlling barbell straight weight. This is another weight. So in order to get what you want out of training with it, you're going to need to be able to program it across time and wave the weights like we do, just like we would do with barbell weights. So we're going to have a digital system for, you know, creating like a yearly training program for football or something where they use this, football, baseball, everything, you know, where they use this to develop peak power for the season. Anyone else?
So do you stack weights on that pedestal thing then?
Yeah, see that weight on the bottom?
Yeah.
So that pin will come out, that's what adjusts the height, but then this entire mechanism will come off.
Okay.
So then you load what you want on there, and then you adjust the height with the hole in that pin right there.
So does it, I guess I'm not sure I'm gonna ask this question, but you mentioned lowering, so in the negative phase, like you're doing a squat, the negative phase with gravity helps you, and the positive phase, when you explode, does it adjust? Did you say it adjusts during those, when you go down and when you come up for that explosiveness?
It just comes off. You know what I'm saying? So like as you're lowering 400 pounds. Now, so your body is opposing 400 pounds. It's stopping 400 pounds from coming down at gravitational acceleration, which is 9.8 meters per second. So in order for that barbell to not be moving that fast downwards, your body is what's producing the opposing force to stop that acceleration. So you're producing 400 pounds of force. You're lowering. Okay, then all of a sudden you're ready to come back up. Now what happens is your motor cortex and your nervous system, it's felt 400 pounds on the way down. So it's thinking now 400 pounds I have to overcome. Well, all of a sudden 200 pounds are gone, let's just say. 200 pounds are gone. Well, you're going to be plowing into 200 pounds with 400 pounds of force. So you're going to develop super maximal power. And there's no way, the reason I say supra maximal is because there's no way to do that consciously. Like you can't produce that much power consciously. You really can't make your nervous system do that. So the way I like to describe it is it's like you're hacking your nervous system with this, you know, because your brain can't do that volitionally, you know. And then now it does adjust in a way on the way back up for acceleration, because as the chain gradually loads as you're going up, see the barbell's force is increasing. That's what's called accommodating resistance. Because like out of a squat, as you go back up, with every degree that your like knee and hip joint angles become more obtuse or less acute, you're getting more advantage mechanically, you know. So like I can push more right here than I can out of the bottom. So you actually want the force of the barbell to increase as you go back up, so you're demanding as much of the system as you can with each you know, like inch as you come up. And what happens is to maintain this same velocity without slowing down, your muscles have to fire faster. You have to accelerate the force production so that that increasing weight doesn't slow you down. So that is another element of power. So what we're doing is we're causing an explosive neurological, well, not pattern, but just an explosion. We're causing an explosion out of the bottom. Then we're layering an accelerating pattern on top of that as you come back up and finish.
Is this a rehabilitative tool as well?
Probably not. I mean, maybe, because the only reason yes, maybe, because I actually had thought about that a while back and forgot. It just came to me when you asked that. So, because some people, like, they might be more comfortable lowering more weight when they're first rehabilitating. I mean, finally, you want to be able to overcome. But you could unrack a fairly heavy weight and lower it, have it come off. So, and actually quite a bit of like muscular protein damage happens on the eccentric portion of the lift. Like roughly 70% of what happens on the concentric. So it's quite a bit happens on the lowering phase. So you could have someone like, maybe if they were like not comfortable, or maybe you thought it was going to be too much pressure like on the knee joint, say in a squat, on the coming back up with heavy weight, but you thought maybe they could lower it. You could do that for a while until they recover to a certain point, and then, you know, start with the full kind of concentric training. You know, concentric means coming back up. For anybody, I know sometimes I use words that are a little technical, but does that make sense? Yeah.
So I guess we'll end with our last question. What can we do as a community to help you be successful?
So if you know anyone who is, especially in the strength and conditioning field, personal trainers, strength and conditioning coaches, people that are interested in that kind of thing, just put them in touch with me, because I'm interested to talk to anyone who wants to talk about this, or who maybe could even kind of do help us with validation and all of that. And then also okay, everyone's heard my story, so if you have and you've kind of understood what's going on, if you could help in any way, I'm always all ears. You know, I always tell people I'm not exactly sure what exactly help I need. Sometimes you need help that you don't even know. So, you know, if someone has something to say, I'm willing to hear it. You know, so.
Give Daniel a hand.
Thank you.